Hello. Welcome to Sugar and Spice Book Club, and welcome to our book discussion on Never by Jess Hastings. I could tell you were waiting for the cue. You were like, when do we hold it up?
We got it.
I don't really even think that we should do like a non-spoiler chat on this. I feel like we should just
Yeah.
dive straight in. I mean, obviously within the spoiler chat, we can talk about stuff that's not necessarily spoilery,
hmm
but I just feel like I just want to get right in, you know?
Dive right into the juice.
Dive right into everything. But I guess I could give like I didn't even read the synopsis, I'll be honest. So I don't
Me
even
neither.
know what is a spoiler.
I mean, we can give our rating and
True.
yeah, pretty
Okay,
much.
what did you rate it?
Well, this book was my first 1-star of the year, if not perhaps my first 1-star in like 2 years. I don't know. I'm not really a 1-star girly. And I did consider giving it 2 star. I did because I'm a nice girly. No, I really couldn't find anything that I could say, you know what? But I like this about. No, hated everything about it. So I'm sorry
Okay.
to I'm sorry to the girlies, but
I
it's
mean, you are entitled to your opinion,
it's
you
right.
know, and that's fine. It's not everyone's cup of tea. And
Yeah,
even from people, multiple people who, love Magnolia Parks and everything, when they read this book, silence afterwards. It was like you didn't see a review.
yeah.
And then people like ask, "Hey, so what do you think?" Silence. So
hmm
you know that like maybe it's not great because you when you
Of
establish yourself so much with certain authors, that's why I like have w- hesitation in doing that, like just making myself so vocal to certain authors because what if I read a book of theirs and I don't like it?
I know it's so scary.
Then I'd be like, they know me, they see my stuff. If I review this and give it a bad rate, like they're gonna know. But anyways, I liked it a little bit more than you did.
Okay.
And I ended up giving it a 3 star.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's mainly because of which I go back and forth because the reason I didn't like it was because of the writing, but the reason I did like it was because of the writing. So it's so hard to put that into words. Like there are certain things that I annotated in here that I'm like, wow, that was beautiful. But then other things, I'm like, why are we speaking with this dialogue? Like why are we doing all of the things we're doing?
Yes.
But I guess I should ask first if you have read Peter Pan. Like the original
Yeah.
Peter, not Wendy and Peter.
No, no.
I tried to before diving into this and I DNF'd it because it was really boring.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm gonna know everything. I'm gonna have all the receipts, but I didn't have anything. And just going into this book, and Peter is so insufferable.
Oh,
It's like it's actually hard to read about, but I'm gonna put up the little spoiler alert. So if you're here and you haven't read the book, then ta-ta for now.
yes.
Maybe don't read this. I don't know. I don't know who I would even recommend this to.
I don't know.
I don't know an audience of people are like, "Oh, if you liked this, you'll like this," because there's nothing like this, which I guess is good? Question
There's truly nothing like it.
mark? Honestly. All right. So let's just talk about the characters. Let's just before talking about Peter, let's talk about Daphne. Did we like her?
Oh god, Daphne was the most irritating character ever. Like, I've never wanted to be out of somebody's head so bad. I I would even take Peter, okay?
Really?
She was just so dumb.
I mean, yeah. But I think Peter's worse.
And she was just what even oh, I don't even know what to say, but we'll get to that later.
But it was kind of sad though when she was going off in the beginning of the book and
Yeah.
then she was like, "Oh yeah, I'll be in the stars," or like, "I'll be in the sky." I think I tabbed it cuz like when she'll come back if she ever does,
Mhm.
she'll be dead. Like her family member, her aunt, her grandma, her somebody.
Oh, yeah, the the grandmother or something.
Yeah, I'll fly you to the stars when it happens. He tells her quite solemnly, I'll be young again when you do. Remember me as I was, Peter. That was kind of cute, but then I was like, ew, the fact that Peter has kissed every single woman in this
Oh,
family,
literally.
it's so gross. But it's also like, yes, that's the original storyline. So I can't really knock that, but I'm like, could you at least have changed that?
I
Maybe?
mean, yeah, I guess I just didn't get the point of the story. But anyway, we're talking about characters.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Well, Daphne, I don't know. She was like fine, I guess. There wasn't really like a point to her. Everything I felt like didn't have any point whatsoever.
Hmm.
And so I felt like they were just like on the page but had like no depth.
Yeah, like she was truly just a wet blanket.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it was sad to see.
And she like had no oh she was so irritating with this like love triangle because she just went back and forth between these guys like nobody's business. And she didn't truly care about any of that. She's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hop right over here and then I'm gonna hop back over here because why not?
Yeah, and that's
And I feel like she didn't care about any of them. It felt like you don't really care about any of these people. And then, oh, oh,
the
and you,
fact that this isn't even a romance though. It's not a romance.
it's so bad.
Also,
Oh,
I love hearing you just shit on a book. It's great.
it's literally the worst. And I thought, okay, for a moment, I thought that Jameson was the character we were kind of rooting for in a way because he was like the villain turned good or whatever.
Mhm.
And so I was like, all right, I'm on board with this guy because I hate Peter because Peter's like a
Right.
whatever the. Oh no, here we
That's
go.
how we feel about Peter.
That's, I'm gonna mute myself for a moment while you speak.
So, Peter, literally the worst. You think he's like a golden retriever at first, and then he just turns out to be such a tiny little boy. Like, I get it. You're like 13 technically, or like 16 or whatever the frick, because I was so confused. They kept talking about ages, but like they age differently there, but like they're stuck in the same mindset as they were. So he's like still 13, but then they said that she was turning 18 and he was only like a year younger than her. While Jameson was 24, but like obviously much older. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, I think that well, I mean, obviously Peter was younger, and no, he
Mhm.
wasn't even younger. Oh, he, no,
Cuz he
Ja-
like never grows up, or that's the story,
yeah, but
right?
he did grow like a little bit because they were talking about how he was older now by like a couple years, and like
Yeah.
he didn't like that at all. and whatnot. But it also felt really weird because, okay, if you take it, for instance, that he's 13 in his mind or whatever.
Mhm.
So she's basically telling a 13-year-old about sex and wanting to have sex with a 13-year-old in essence. It's like, oh, what even? I don't
I
know.
mean, and if it like, it didn't really make me that icked out when she was explaining it to him because I was like, "Okay, so they're different, right?" And,
Mhm.
like, explaining what kissing was and all that, but, like, I just and then when he does well, since Joe's still here, I don't really wanna say it, but it's things that occur later, I'm like, "I can't excuse you."
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
really age, but since Peter does come to the regular world once in a while, he gets slightly older when he's in the regular world. But you have to keep in mind this is someone who essentially is a child and never grew up with any type of adults. Yeah, and that's why I was like willing to let certain things that he was saying slide and like certain, he was very, very, very childish. But I was like, okay, it goes with the character.
it does, but at the same time, when you have Daphne, who's literally 18 going on, and she's like supposed to fall in love with this 13-year-old boy, in essence,
Hmm.
it's fucking weird.
It is weird. And I know a lot of people were talking about that in the criticisms of this book. And that wasn't even like that much on my mind, like the age gap per se, because I was way more focused on Jameson.
No, yeah, I liked him a lot better, but then, like, okay, I went into this thinking like it was more of a romance, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, it's not. Thank you.
Definitely wasn't.
It
But
def
let's talk about Jameson a little bit.
Okay, Jameson, I really liked him from the very beginning, and he kept growing on me. Like, I liked him, and then the ending came, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
No, the way my mouth was agape. I was like, you've got to be kidding me right now. But whatever. I don't know if we'll get into that when we talk about plot and
I
stuff.
still don't even really understand what happened with him. Like, it was just all this what even all of a sudden, like, it doesn't even matter. I don't know. I don't know. I'm
It's
s
like everything we built just
was just
crumbled.
nothing, and it wasn't like this big explosion or anything. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't
It
do
was
this.
it was honestly for nothing. But yeah, I
And
really
then
liked him. I really
it
liked
was
him
so
the entire book. He carried it.
the ending is so infuriating because
Yeah.
Peter for what?
L literally.
What reason?
Hello.
Bro.
Maybe don't read it. Both of us did okay, so I'm giving it a 3 just because of, like, the writing, but, like, my enjoyment of it, as I told you, I only liked it in the last 75 pages. That was when I was, like, invested in where we were headed, and then I hated the very last, like, paragraph or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that's why I settled on a 3, but, like, enjoyment-wise, it's probably, like, a 1.5.
I hated it from the very beginning. I wanted DNF, and then
Mhm.
I pushed through, and then I still hated it. And then I was actually getting a little bit more into it, like, around page maybe, like, 250 or something, and I
Mhm.
was, like, okay with reading it at least. Like, I was like, "Okay, I wanna see how this ends. I guess I'll finish it tonight," you know? And
Yeah,
I was like I finished, I was like, "Fuck this shit. I can't believe I wasted my whole day on this." So, yeah.
and that's exactly why I wanted you to finish it because I was like, if I had to do it,
It was
passing the
horrible,
torch to you.
and I
But
feel bad for myself.
no, same. I mean, it only took me a day to read, so, like, it's fine. If I had picked it up over multiple days, like, there's no way I would have finished it.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, picking it back up, I would have been like, no.
Knowing that it
Please no.
wasn't a romance, uh, I still don't think I would've even if I went into it thinking this isn't a romance, this is just a story. The thing about it for me is, like, what is the point of the story then? Like, I know it's a retelling of Peter Pan, whatever.
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess I'm, like, not a regular I don't even know what this book would be in a genre, but I'm not that girly. That
Mhm.
whatever this is, sign me out. Sign me
Whatever this
out.
is, I don't wanna be in that club.
I don't wanna be in it. I don't like it. It was just depressing at the same time too because you kind of wanted something to happen and it just never does. Like, you're just always disappointed. At least that's how I felt.
No, and I was invested because, as I said, like, Jameson, he's the tall, dark, and handsome guy, like, he's cute, you know, and he's broody and, like, he'll kill anyone who, like, touching you die type of vibe, but then
Exactly.
he literally is like, "Bye, going back to Peter." And it's just aggravating because Peter sucks and Peter is going off with all of the other girls even though he's a child, he's a boy, like, and he's over there just having relations with all of these other women.
Disgusting in every way possible.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm really jealous." And he's like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be." And she's like, "Oh, okay, well then I'm not."
But at the same time, even Jameson was annoying in that way. Like, he was always messing around too.
Yeah. And can I
So,
just say the dialogue was a choice. I was having such a hard time
oh my god.
understanding what he was saying at all times,
Yes. I
but some of
honestly
it was cute.
I pictured him so ugly. I
I
don't know.
pictured him hot, it made it better.
He was ugly in my opinion.
I imagine Peter ugly.
Yeah, Peter was just flying around in my head. Like,
Like, literally fine.
just a
I
little guy.
love
Hello.
Magnolia Park's lover, but loathe this book.
Yeah. I'm very
Jordan
worried to even try to read anything else by this author because ew.
and the footnotes, I talked about this on my live, but I'm like, "Why?" They were so unnecessary.
Yeah.
It
I didn't
didn't give you anything. It wasn't like a definition of
bother
certain
with
things. It
no.
wasn't like translating what Jameson was saying at all times, which would have been helpful.
The whole writing style was a choice in and of
Mhm.
itself. Like, it felt so immature, which I get, like, it's Peter Pan retelling, so maybe it's supposed to be that way. I guess I just yeah, I just don't get it, I guess. I don't know.
LOL.
Oh, it was just oh, and it's so choppy. And some of the things where was it? I know I tabbed some of the off the rocker things that was happening. That was oh my god.
I guess we'll just talk
Oh, no, it was this one, I'm sorry. Daphne was insufferable. She goes, "I've had boyfriends before. Lots of boys like me. I'm attractive enough, and in a conventional way, I'm clever. I'm from a well-to-do family. I'm mysterious and aloof. I don't care about the things some girls care about." Ew.
she's not like other girls.
And she's talking to herself she's talking about herself like this, like, "Why are you talking like that?" Lots of
It's a
ways.
choice.
And she's, like, not the age to be doing this, I feel. I feel like she sounds like the 13-year-old in this instance, and so maybe her and Peter are a great match, but, like
Maybe. And she can't make up her mind, and, like, that's even what the conflict also with which the fact that they called him Jam and Jammy, like, literally, it took
yeah,
me out. I was like, "This strong, burly man, and you're gonna call him Jam?" Which I'm like, "Okay, is it Jamison then?" Because they said it was, like, the jam you put on
yeah,
whatever, and I was like, "So is it Jamison and not Jameson?" But that didn't make any sense.
it doesn't make sense.
But there were some cute moments though, I won't lie, but it was only between her and Jam. I mean, at first, I thought we were supposed to be rooting for Peter.
Mhm.
But I thought wrong. And so there were a couple of times where I was like, "Oh, that's cute." Like literally page 13. Happy thoughts. Peter Pan shrugs like it's nothing. What are you thinking about? You. He grins and then he reaches down, offering me his hand like a gentleman. Now, girl, think of me. Also, the girl
Oh,
part, and then calling her Wendy.
I can't.
I was like, why are you gaslighting her right now? Because he's like, oh, it's like girl is a term of endearment, and
And
like
then
that's
he
so
left
nice.
her with the Minotaur or whatever to fend for herself,
It was like glad you didn't die.
like the Lost Boys. Oh my god. And
And
he kept
it was only Jam that was like, what? Like who did this to you?
yeah,
Type of energy.
beating her. Yeah, that's why I liked him. I was just so pissed. Oh, the ending, man.
So quote sound like a cheer from Bring It On. Honestly.
You know who I did like though? I will admit, I liked the little fairy that helped her make shoes and stuff. Maroon.
So that's like an ancestor of Tinkerbell, I'm assuming.
Yeah. But she's like a nice girly.
Yes, Rune was my favorite. Did the Lost Boys show up in this book? Yes, but like, yeah, but like, they weren't really the focal point.
Wasn't it only really like the only one we got to talk to a lot was Brody? Was Rye
Yeah,
also a Lost Boy? No, he was like that Calla girl's sister. Or my brother, sorry.
bro. Yeah, and he was jealous,
Yeah,
which I thought was like, I thought we were gonna get another love interest, and I was like, okay,
I know.
you know
No,
what?
and Peter on page 145, Peter goes, "Why do you look stupid and sad?" I was like, "At me."
No, and he's so rude. He's so mean. But like
Really?
you just think he doesn't know what he's saying is mean. And like then he literally is naked and in the sheets with this other girl and like it's
Yes.
obviously not explicit. So he says he didn't have sex with her.
Right.
But I'm like, huh? Like she literally sees this in the class, like looking down that they're in like naked together, and he thinks it's okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's not okay. But then still, like he banishes her. I can't even keep the timeline straight because it literally is so much time, so many times that like he pisses her off. She goes to
Yeah.
James, then he like doesn't know what he wants, and he won't tell her outright. But I'm like, girl, you're not giving him anything either.
Then she goes back to him.
She goes back to Peter, and then she goes back. Like it's just back and forth and back and forth. So I don't even remember. But like at one point, Peter banishes her, like actually banishes her, and she's walking through the woods, and then he meets up with her and is like, "What are you doing out here?" And she's like, you banished me." He's like, "You're so silly, and you take everything so seriously."
Literally.
I'm like, "You're deranged, sir." He
He's
forget
great.
he forgets everything he says, and it's just
Ever get
annoying.
like any I feel like the plot was going places. Like occasionally we'd be like, "Oh, is there a mystery?" Because like we've got the medicine that they take in the morning and whatever. We've got the water that's supposedly like what's making them forget things? I don't know. The medicine, the water, whatever the fuck. And then the Lost Boys, he's like taking to this island to die, which Jameson was saving, right? That was the gist of that. But I don't know
Wait,
if he
like when the boat was sinking?
no, like he had didn't Jameson save the Brody's brother or whatever? Olsen? Because at the end Olsen showed up, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know who that man is.
or something. I don't know. I thought he was saving the Lost Boys that Peter would like drop off at a random island just to die.
Oh, yeah. No, because she discovered that, like, Peter had been doing that, and, like, everyone that he leaves and forgets about, like, she excuses it as, like, "Oh, yeah, he just doesn't remember," and he's like, "No, he's, like, actually killing these people."
Yeah.
And she's like, "You're so silly. You don't know anything about my main man, Peter." I'm like, "Girl." But the way that she talks about heartbreak, like, it was so that was the only good part of the book, and I know I said this to you, but I'm gonna say this to everyone here on this day, on this live. If you're here, you've probably either already read it or you're not going to because 'cause you've made it this far, but when I tell you this piano song, it's actually the one that I put on our picture for today. I replayed that literally 12 times while reading the last, like, 100 pages of the book, so it's probably more than 12 times, but I was just going back and back and back, and my emotions were so heightened, I cried at the end of the book.
Wow.
It moved me to tears, and that's another reason that it's a 3.
Okay.
Because I was like, "Okay, well, she kinda hit with some of these quotes near the end, I won't lie." And if we wanna talk about those now, we can, or we can keep talking about the plot if you have anything else to add.
Well, um, I don't know. Nothing made sense. That was my thing. I just didn't get it. I didn't get the vibes. I wish I did.
I mean, but every girl is up
Every
in here.
Peter. And my thing is, why did she pick Peter in the end?
Again, like, literally, it's so heartbreaking, and that's another thing, because I really thought we were gonna get our happily ever after with Jameson, aka Hook.
Yes.
And then
But
when she crawled into bed with Peter and is
yeah,
like, "I love you."
but it made no sense. That's the thing. It made no sense at all. Because what even I don't understand any of this character's choices whatsoever. And everything leading up to that moment did not go to this outcome.
No, because, like, okay, so she's building this relationship up the entire book with Jameson and, like,
Yes.
even having these cute little moments with his mom,
Yes.
which is another thing we haven't really talked about. Like, she had approval from his witch mother that Peter was so fucking rude to.
Yep. And then we thought like they were fated or something because they were also talking about some prophecy or some bullshit where like
Mhm.
she was supposed to fulfill this like air thing and make the hope back in Neverland or whatever. And to do that, it was supposed to be these two people. But
Yeah, and that's what she's holding on to the entire time because she's like, "I'm a darling. I have to do what fate tells me to.
yeah,
Like,
but
it's
then
my one duty."
telling her fate is in your hands.
Well, and
And
that's even what the guy oh, my favorite part of the plot, though, even though it did get a little wonky in the middle, but, like, when she first went to Neverland and she went in the clouds and met that guy who's, like, an ancestor of
oh
hers,
yeah, the like uncle or
and you
something.
stand in front of the mirrors and you get rid of all your baggage. I
Yeah,
thought that was really clever. I really liked that.
really.
You're like, "Really?" 'Cause I didn't. No, I thought
Yeah,
it was so powerful. Just imagine you standing in front of, like, a wall of mirrors, and it just shows, like, all the baggage that you have. Like, like, emotional
yeah.
baggage,
I
all
liked
of
it in
these,
the
like
beginning.
yeah,
I
and
think
again, like, that's why I said it got a little, like, annoying in the middle.
by the end, I was mad, so I was like, "I hate everything about this," but yeah, in the beginning, I thought that was cool.
It was cool. I was like, "Wow, I can't." And then there's one moment where he says, like, "Oh, you look heavier. Might need to go, like, drop off some baggage." Because at first I thought he was making a weight reference, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Hang on," but no, he meant, like, you've got a lot weighing you down.
And he could, like, see the baggage or whatever.
Yeah, but I thought that was a nice touch, but again, hate it towards the end because then she starts dropping off all of her memories and thoughts of Jameson because she wants to stay true to the darling name and stick with Peter.
Yep. Yep, she just literally forgets all the sweet and cute moments.
Yeah, and then she goes back to him again, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, we talked about this, don't you remember?" And she's like, "No." Because she literally dropped it off as baggage. Like, imagine somebody being like, I think of you too much and it's, like, really weighing me down, so, like, I need to get rid of that. All thoughts of you have to leave."
And then he said that he would never drop any thoughts off of her.
No, I annotated that. Where is that? He's like, "I would." Yeah, he literally says what you just said. I would never. Where is it? Opening, looking for that. I found when he says, "I feel it all over like a flu," the one I put in our picture. Because he feels his, like,
Oh, yeah, like,
I
'cause
feel it
the
all over like a
eyes
flu.
kicking.
Kicking my feet, screaming. But it doesn't pan out to anything, so that makes me upset.
Yep.
Get it? Pan out?
What?
Oh, and
I
then I found the one that you put, "Sometimes when I think about you, the sky turns pink."
Yes. I
But that's
think
but that's
even
Peter.
that is Peter. I
Gross.
think even if so, like, will you stop, please? Anyway, I think even if Jameson would have been the person she ends up with or whatever, I still would have rated it. It might have gotten a higher rating, I guess, 2 stars, okay? It wouldn't have been up there any very much, but I would have liked it a little bit more, I guess. Because it just didn't make sense, I guess. The way that Peter treated her the whole book, and then it was just like, "What are you doing? That makes no sense." You asked him multiple times to not be with Calla, and what does he do? He's off, like, doing all the things with this person,
Mhm.
and he just never respected her, never nothing, and then she just ends up with it. It's just infuriating.
I mean,
Lit
I'm glad that she had her little thing with Jameson for a while. Not even a while. It was interrupted way too quick by that meeting with,
oh,
like, everybody.
but no, no, it's so bad.
I can't find the quote, but I did find another one. We're just gonna get into favorite quotes. It'll probably just be me saying my favorite quotes because 'cause I'm not sure if you had any.
Maybe I did, I don't know.
It's basically just all the things that Jameson says in his own way. So, they're talking about the legend of the witch that, like, eats people's hearts, and
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh, yeah, I saw her with my own eyes. I feel sick as I blink over at him, but she didn't eat your heart." He shakes his head. "I was not in love at the time." I was like, "Swoon." Obviously, that's me saying it in a normal way. He says, "I was no in love at the time."
I guess, wow.
You're like, "I guess I don't
I
have
love
anything."
how the ending said, "Maybe Peter was never the problem.
He was, girl. He was the whole problem.
Pirate who found me when I first fell here. Maybe I was a game to him this whole time."
Yeah. No.
And then she drops every memory of him.
And then crawls into bed. And the way he called her Beau,
Yeah.
I was deceased. I was like, you have nicknames for each other? It's so cute. And the way that he like gave her his coat when they went strolling through the woods together. He's just boyfriend material, and I don't understand. Like, I get it that she has this I just feel like family ties don't run that deep. I'm sorry, girl, but I'm not sorry. Like, I would not do that for my family. I would not be with Peter Pan just because I'm a darling. Sorry, if he treats me as horribly as Peter does, I'm
Exactly.
going with the other man. Even though Jameson does kind of fuck up near the end when he says like, "Oh yeah, I should have just let him have you," about his like uncle.
Hmm.
And the way that she was so ready to die, sad, big sad.
Oh,
That's what made me upset.
it was sad. I'll admit I was feeling emotions while reading this, so I'll give it that because it was sad when she, ended up with a horrible person.
Yeah. It's just like again what you said earlier. It led to nothing. Like, why did we do all of this just to get nowhere?
That's probably the author's intent,
Yeah.
obviously. I
Yeah.
just it's not for me. It's not for my taste.
Yeah, and again, not a romance. I was going into it thinking, okay, maybe it's just a little like toxic.
I really thought that was what I was getting myself into.
I don't know.
Well, because it was pitched kind of like as a love triangle,
Mhm.
and so like I was on board, and I was like, okay, I clearly have a favorite here.
Clearly.
But yeah,
We're never rooting for the blonde men. Are you
no,
kidding?
never the blondies.
Okay, so page 277, this is a sad moment because I had three different colors. I had pink for all the like lovey-dovey moments, cute kicking my feet moments. And then I had green for just like favorite writing slash quotes. And then another color, it's like a beige color. I don't know. It matches the cover. Who cares? And that's all the sad moments. And I have a good amount of all of them. Obviously, all the pink ones except for two are between her and Jim. I can't. I can't. Okay. But on page 277.
277.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a flower appears in front of me, offered on the hand I like best in the world. I know it before I even look up to see that it's him. I know his hands impossibly well because it's always felt so scandalous to think of his face when I'm lying next to Peter. But to think of Jameson's hands, what's in a hand? Nothing at all. Least of me these days.
Oh,
Least of all me these days. I fucked that up.
you still all me.
Least of all me these days.
Get out of here. What are you doing? Out.
And the way he says I love you first to her.
Yes. I know. It was so cute. And then when he gets caught saying all those mean things to his uncle about her.
For the
Oh,
second time, that's the second time he's done that whole like, "Oh, but I was trying to protect you. Like I didn't know you were listening."
I
Mm-mm.
don't know.
Again, like why'd you have to go so hard with it? You could have just been like, "Oh yeah, it was
Yeah,
fine, I guess." Be like, "No,
exactly.
she sucked." And also like she just talks a lot. Boy, I would
She
have been
asked
pissed too.
she asked a lot of questions. Yeah. Oh,
And when he
yeah.
calls her love, And she's like, "You never called me that before." And he's like, "Thought I'd try it out." But again, I can't feel giddy about these moments because
I
they
know.
never pan out to
What
anything.
if he was horrible though, you know? Who knows? We have an unreliable narrator in this instance, so who knows?
Oh my god. For what it's worth, I fell a long time ago. There was a certain paragraph that made me sob my eyes out, and I even read this paragraph out loud to my mom. And she was like, "What? What's going on?" Um, it's a long one, so bear with me for a second. It's on page 364, so literally in the very end of the book. But here we go. I stare over at him who I thought fate had called me to, and I think of what he said about me. I let my lovesick heart bathe in what I saw before, when he called me names and nothing. I drink deep from that cup, let the poison run down my throat, fill up my stomach, and push down and away the nagging feeling I have that he is good and steady and stable, like the earth I love so much. I remember that under its beautiful surface is just fiery rocks, and a molten core that would burn me alive the second I let it. I remind myself that the earth can crack and shake, split itself wide open, and swallow you whole. So I let myself fall back into the crack in the ground that I fell through when I heard him and glare back up at him through that darkness his words pushed me into. I was like, bars. You really hit with that one.
Mm, wow.
I like writing like that, but I just felt like it was the tone of this book was just all over the place.
Yeah. It was like at one moment it's choppy,
Mhm.
and then at the next moment it's trying to be really lyrical like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And then
I
you're
think
just pissed at Peter for being a little boy, and then you're like, loving the other relationship, but then you can't have that one. And then you get these banger sentences, and then you just go back to Peter being an asshole. I'm like, what is going on?
I think it'll be interesting to read Magnolia Parks.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm scared, but it seems to be like not that if you hate this, you also hate
Yeah,
Magnolia Park. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But maybe we fucked up reading this first.
No, seriously.
Like, I'm scared now. Like, before I was so excited about Magnolia Parks, even though I've been putting it off forever. But now I'm like, mm.
I guess it had potential, so that's nice
Mhm.
to know. But like, there was definitely moments that this could have been good.
Yeah, and I did like a lot of the more lyrical aspects that weren't dialogue based, I guess, is my huge problem with the book. With Peter and with Jameson and just everyone else. Like her conversations, I guess, with Cat, whatever her name is, brother,
Mhm.
fine. But just in general, the conversations were so just cut and dry.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's all I gotta say about it.
That's all we got, folks.
I think we've said our piece.
Yeah.
That just felt like a rant review.
It was definitely a rant. I probably won't put this in anything, any
Are you
review.
gonna unhaul it? Or are you gonna keep it?
Well, this was the worst gift I ever received.
Oh shit! I didn't even mean it like that. You can unhaul it. It's fine. It's fine.
It is the most beautiful cover, though.
It is a stunning cover.
I love it so much, and I really wanted to love it just because of that.
I think I will keep it just because
It's so
it
beautiful.
is nice looking.
But yeah, our next book is Gothicana.
Yeah, let me take the little spoiler thing off.
Gatakana by Runix, and it is my second time reading Gatakana, so hopefully I like it
Yeah.
more this time. I rated it 3 stars the first time, but it's edited now and everything.
I didn't even know that you'd read it before when we picked it. So I feel
Oh,
kind of stupid for that one, especially since you didn't love it the first time, but hopefully you like it more now since it is
yeah.
like edited.
I
Maybe
think
they
I
changed
might
some
too,
things.
'cause I definitely think about the story a lot, so I'm excited to see what I think the second time, because maybe I was just in a bad mood. You never know. You
Yeah.
never know my moodiness.
But now it's like going from this to that, like
Yeah,
that one's at least a romance, right?
yeah,
Okay.
a darker romance with a mystery. Yeah.
Glad to hear that. Yeah.
Low, good looking out. I rated it 1
Yeah.
star, so you didn't miss out.
I don't think you've like you said in the last 2 years, I don't think I've heard you ever rate a book 1 star.
Yeah, no, it's been years. I only rate them 1 star if, like, they offend me personally or, like, they make me just so angry.
Yeah.
So this was one of those times.
This book did both of those things.
I feel personally victimized.
It is what it
Okay,
is.
to each their own.
They can't all be bangers. It's fine. I'm just upset. It's such a pretty cover.
I know it is. It is.
But what both of us, I'm calling it, we're gonna love Magnolia Parks. No, we're gonna like Magnolia Parks better than we liked
Yeah,
this.
that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for you, there's nowhere to go but up.
No, yeah. Can't get worse. And I'm happy about that because now I get to start February on a great note with a hopefully better book.
Exactly. Also, side have you had any no. How many 5 stars have you had so far this year?
Well, I've actually been really lucky in that regard because most of the books that I've read have been 4 or 5 stars.
Because you know how
Um,
to pick them. You know your taste.
I have had 2 5 stars, and then
Oh, gee,
the rest
same.
of it 4.
The rest for me are definitely not 4, but I've had 2 5 stars as well.
Yes, and I just got When the Moon Hatched in person. It's so cute,
Amazing.
and so thick, and so glorious.
You know what else is thick? Well, that not like that. The new Sarah J. Maas book. I got it in the
Yes,
mail, and I was like,
I
"She thick."
really do want to do my reread. That's something that I'm definitely going to prioritize, yeah. But we're
But you
reading
still gotta finish the second book.
I know.
Mm.
I gotta reread. I'm actually rereading Crescent City. So,
I don't know my reading
I
taste, but
try very hard
yeah.
because I don't want to, waste my time like that, you know?
I just am a pro at wasting my time. I just like to try everything, and then I'm disappointed by lots of things.
Yeah.
And that's a me
Sometimes
problem.
characters fall flat, and that's sad.
Yeah. I don't know.
But we're reading Court of Beasts in about 10 minutes.
Yes, we're hopping over to
Hopping on a
Amanda's channel. I'm like, maybe we should stop with the small talk and like save that for that. But
yeah.
anyways, thank you
Court
all for
of
joining. And if you want to read, if you want to continue the fun, but like read with us, it's sprints, not a discussion,
Yes.
then hop on over in like literally 10 minutes. And Gothicana is our book for this month, and our live will be on the 27th.
Yes.
I think,
Yes.
yeah, 27th. on Amanda's channel also. But yeah.
You then.
Bye.